So let's say, hypothetically speaking, someone comes to you and they go like, hey, yo, like, we want you to do a show. A show? Necessarily, what are you talking about show? Well, we would love to pay you X amount of dollars to play a set of music. Yeah? Yeah. Well, what's it looking like? What's the set looking like? Well, you know, can you play your own original music? What? Yes. We want you to play your own original music. And we'll give you about a 30-minute set, 45 minutes max. Okay, cool. You stop talking to the person, they negotiate whatever, you know, they're gonna pay you and whatever. And you walk away from them and you go, but wait, I've never put together a set of music before. What am I gonna do? I'm glad you asked. Well, sit back and relax, cause I got you. Your boy K got you. So, hey Siri, set a timer for 40 minutes.
Hold on there, player. I got something important to tell you.
If any of you guys who are watching want to watch all this back, I currently have a thing going on called Full Studio. Access $8 per month for the entire catalog of all these Twitch streams. It goes back to 2021, all the way up until right now. As well, the Access Plus option that gives you access to the catalog, the consultations, and a 30% discount code to anything I drop in the future for my sound packs right here. So if you're watching this, cop the full access, please. I'm gonna walk away now. For more information, cop something from my store, wait for the email, and join the Discord for more. Now back to the video. Number one thing I want you to think of when it comes to performing or playing a live set, I want you to understand that preparation is so important. I honestly suggest you guys to write this all down. You need to know what to play, how to play it, and how long to play it for. If you don't play any instruments, you could do a very simple setup of Ableton and have your tracks ready. And what's funny about Ableton is there's so many ways you can go about playing your songs and always being prepared for anything that could happen. But first, before we think about playing music, we need to know what music do you want to play. You gotta pick some beats that you have made. And luckily, I have the perfect folder for this. Let's say you make all these beats and you want to be able to play them live. Your beats, the ones you enjoy, should be the ones that you play. Now, the reason why I say the ones you enjoy are the ones you should play are typically because we often think we have to impress people. Making music is not about impressing someone. It's about sharing your ability of how you communicate with other people. And it's actually interesting. Performing, and now that I think about it, performing is like a perspective. You're sharing a perspective, a conversation with people. And based off conversation, you can utilize it to create energy, or first impressions don't matter. If you impress yourself, you're going to impress everybody. About allowing yourself to change the atmosphere. Yes, and Mo Gratitude is a part of the chat. I'm so glad, bro. He's here, y'all. Shout out to Mo Gratitude. He about to help me good with this. Performing like preparing for a PowerPoint presentation. And not even just PowerPoint presentation, because PowerPoint presentations, you're creating something not to persuade people. Now, your ability, how you communicate, has the potential to persuade people. But for those who like it, those are the ones who like it. Don't try and cater to everybody. And I say that real loosely because not everybody will understand. And this is coming from my first experience when I used to play shows. I was so fearful that I would play music and nobody would like it. And I realized at that time, I had not even understood how to even play my music. So I'm in fear of something I don't even know. People fear what they don't understand. Am I right? So within curating a set, you want to be able to map out sounds and play your music. And I highly advise you to play all of your music back. After you make it, play it back. Okay? So I got a bunch of folders here. I got the YouTube album that never came out. That was the original version of the Funk Will Prevail. I got the Selection EP. That was something I was working on that didn't get finished. Mirrors. That was a whole nother album that I was supposed to be coming out with. Afterthoughts. Y'all recognize Afterthoughts. Act 2. There's a lot of music sitting in this folder. If you got any remixes, if you make remixes, if you make beats and put acapellas on top of them, this is perfect. Yeah, even if it's like original, like play your remixes, bro. People want to hear your beats. So I'm going to just go through some random joints and click and drag. I don't even care about the track list right now. We're just going to grab some sounds and start putting them out here. So I remember this beat. Y'all remember this video? Gonna drag it up here. This is a crazy one. I made this 2 years ago. That's cool. Now, with them picking 21 different ideas, this is the process of adding as you go. So, as you allow these 20 songs to create the idea of what you want to perform, this will give you some sort of consensus of what songs to add. Whether it be remixes, whether it be other people's songs, if you want to play other people's songs, but if you got asked to play your own, you got to play your own. So you got to add more of your own. I got a whole Discord folder of beats that we could add too. Look at that. Look at all that. But we're not going to go that far. I have all these songs and they're all in these tracks. I'm pretty sure you're thinking, Kay, how can we take these tracks and put it onto something that's a little bit more manageable? I'm glad you asked. So what you're going to do is if you have Ableton, you're going to hit the tab on your keyboard. What that tab is going to do is this. We're going to only focus on 4 tracks. And we're also going to remove all these clips. Let's go ahead and cut all this. Yep, let's not think about it. I'm going to show you a little trick. So see these new 4 tracks that I have right here? They've just been chilling. You're going to press shift on your keyboard and drag all the way down to 50. And you're simply going to press copy, paste. Now look at this. I like how I did that. It just did that. We only want to put these over here on these 4. Yep. So these 4 tracks only need music on these 4. So trust me, gonna copy. They're all clips, by the way. So you ain't gotta worry. They're all clips. Keep going till you get all those clips over there. Yeah. Put them all over here. Think about this like a Microsoft Excel sheet. And so, and if at any point this isn't making any sense, let me know. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete all these other tracks that were not necessary. Yep. And then we're gonna put a little bit right over here. Now, we have just taken a dozen of these clips, right? A dozen of these clips, and they all are sitting on these tracks. You're going to need to separate all these, which you won't have to worry about that. You'll have the template. Template will be out. I'm doing the hard part for y'all. Let's go ahead and name this track Deck A. Let's name this Deck B. Name this Deck C. Name this Deck D. And if you want to get a little crazy with the colors, let's go blue. Let's go red. Let's go green. Let's go orange. Now, you have just set up on Ableton a DJ deck, a 4 DJ deck. Now, what's funny is you don't necessarily need these last 2, but they are there just because there is more you can utilize. And if you want to actually do that, you can always just select all of it and grab it over here. Now, I'm pretty sure you're wondering, how in the world am I supposed to play music, Kay? How does this work? Well, the beautiful thing about clip view in Ableton is that clip view was really intended to take your music and play it live. You are able to play it live, able to do things live, a ton, Ableton Live. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let that breathe. But yeah, so with that, you have to have some parameters to set this up. And just for the sake of this setup, I'm gonna go and grab all these tracks and use 4 decks. And it's gonna come in handy, trust me. So now that we got all these songs just kind of sitting on the decks, where do we go from here? Well, either we could go about this 2 ways. Either you could specifically take certain songs and listen to them. How would you go about listening to them? See the little playhead, this arrow, this thing that plays? You can play each one individually.
I am period, you are period.
So I'm just listening back.
Period, you are.
Cool. So we know this track is here, but if you notice, the BPM is going to be completely off.
I am period, you are period. I am period.
What you're going to need to do is to take this track and figure out what the BPM is, and I'll show you exactly what that is. I think I showed this to you guys in my first absolutely beginner level of Ableton. In this setup, you can actually, in clip view, you can also warp the music. So Crash, you recognize this, right? Remember I was able to warp the track from the jump? So you can warp this entire track, top to bottom. I mean top to bottom. So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna press play.
I am period, you are period.
And we're gonna find where this kick drum starts. And I would highly suggest to you, if you want to know what the downbeat is, look for the first kick drum that is establishing your beat. So let's turn off the metronome. Let's press play.
I am period, you are period. I am period, you are.
All right, so this right here is where 1 should be. This right here. Okay, so that, of course, sounds like the beat. Let me show you how I play my shows, and this is literally cheat code. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this downbeat of this kick. Now it's gonna sound a little bit slower. I'm gonna show you a little crazy trick. So what's hilarious, this whole track, the whole track, if you were to count 1 here, or like the downbeat of the whole thing, if we were to turn on loop, you can loop from that point on, or longer. And then let's say you want to play that part. Just loop that. Now, let me show you a couple tricks about this. Because I just now mapped up what the BPM could be, it also shows us right here on the clip. Shows us the BPM. And because I want to know what the original BPM is, I simply have to hit rename for the clip. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put period I, parentheses, 140, 140.17. That is how I set up not just one song, but you can set up other ones. And the beautiful part is that's the only beat that doesn't have a BPM. And let me show you something cool too. See where the BPM is right here? You can always speed it up. Or slow it all the way down. use a track name to automate the BPM like in the main column? No. But I will say if you want to specifically set this main column up to be something else, I allow this thing to let me know where I'm at all times. So you can go to this main column and be like intro. And let me also show you another trick too. You can actually color code it. I forgot to tell y'all that. You can color code that part. Let's say you want to play just the intro and press play. And I'm going to let y'all know something crazy. I'm going to just put the counter over here. Press play.
I am period. You are period. I am period.
Now it's playing that part. Now you see over here, I just dragged the beginning playhead past 1. This is probably the only DAW, the only ultra powerful DAW that I've used that allows you to use negative measurements. What? Negative measurements. Think about that. Like, we're not talking about 1, 2, 3. We're talking about -4, -3, -2, -1, 1. It allows you to do that on Ableton. Just in case anybody needs help, like, counting, you know? If you name the main track intro 40 BPM, it will change the global BPM when you play it. Now, let me show you. I'm going to tell you exactly this, right? The reason why, and this, you could do that too, but I'm going to show you exactly the reason why I don't do that. Let's say, for instance, you want to play around with what you got. Because me, I love playing around with the music that I have. I never play music the way that you originally heard it. Whenever I perform, I choose moments like this to perform. And I'm only going to show y'all my method of doing this. So let's say I have another track that is 140 BPM. I'll find another song that's in the set list that's in the same ballpark. Or let's say it's like 134. So if I wanted to play this beat, right? If I wanted to play this beat and then play the one after it, it'll perfectly be in beat because I don't have to worry about like the time frame. So let's hit warp. The BPM says 134 here. Let's type in 134. And I'm only going to turn on loop to make sure this beat loops because I don't want it to like stop. So watch this.
I am period. You are period. I am period. You are.
Now, if I want to cue this on beat, I could do this. This right here is a global bar. This thing is a global counter, and I want you to know this is going to be the most important part of this whole entire process. Everything you see right here is global, which means everything. It's the entire world of this session. You can trigger things in sync by bars, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, half a bar, a quarter of a bar, an eighth of a bar, a 16th of a bar. This is going to be huge and instrumental. So let me show you 1/4 of a bar. Let's do a quarter. So let's just do this. Watch this.
I am period. I am period.
I'm only clicking it on time. I'm not even using this controller.
I am period. I
What?
am period.
And you can just play around like that.
You are period. I am period. You are.
Now I'm pretty sure you're looking at this and thinking like, how am I going to go into another song for this? Well, make sure you have another song queued up on the BPM. And because this is on, we can perfectly be in time and never have to worry about being off beat. Now watch this. Even if I click this off beat. Ooh. And you see what I'm saying? Crazy, right? So you can utilize these things to be able to play sets back and forth. And I'm pretty sure you see the other 2 decks here. You can spread them out however you want. So let's say I want to start off with period I and then go to another one. Let's see if I got another one that'll be something that'll match with this. So I have 3 beats. And so far, I'm starting off pretty strong. And remember this, I have this thing called a power of threes. For every 3 ideas, switch the energy up either after the third one or on the third one. 3 to 4 tracks. And so, because this is right here.
I am period, you are period, I am period, you are.
Yeah, look at that. And what's funny is both of them are a little bit off, but we could tweak that a little bit. And this is usually where a lot of the tweaking process comes in. If you look closely, it's not perfectly on beat. So we're just going to make sure it's on beat.
I am period, you are period, I am period, you are.
I'm just playing around with 2 beats right now. Now watch this. Let me show you something. Turn it off. Yeah, right here. Perfect. That's not even me thinking too hard. This is me playing around. This is so crucial. This is so crucial because think about the preparation that it took just to be able to warp the records on beat. You want to be able to know what songs you're playing and how long you're playing it for. And if you play this right, you can play this for up to 45 minutes. And what's funny is you don't have to play every song in between. You could talk in between. You can play all these joints. And so the little bits of preparation adds up over time. So because I've added not just 1, 2, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 ideas, I can do this with multiple songs. So let's say if I want to add one more and switch the energy up, I have 2 ideas that are all halftime, but I noticed the energy is kind of like it went up at period I, and then with you in mind, I'm right here, it went down. So if I wanted to switch the energy up a little bit, I can actually attempt to switch the energy with a certain song. So let's say Lil Bit. I got Lil Bit. Y'all know Lil Bit, right? From the Funk Will Prevail. I got Lil Bit. I'm going to throw that in on the session. And we can play it too. So watch this. Right on beat. Just a little bit. So what's funny is this. Ableton has set up special ways for you to be able to not only just create songs that carry an energy, but you can take these individual pieces and they run into each other. And so peep this. So let's say I want to play, and let me actually make sure this is set to like the downbeat one. I don't want to play this on loop anymore, okay? I've realized that. And I realized I don't want to play the whole thing on loop. So I want to make sure I play certain songs like perfectly on beat, especially when times like start. I want to like start. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on how you set your music up to play. And this is a really simple way of doing it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all a crazy trick. You ready for this? So, of course, I'm individually dragging all these different setups, right? I'm clicking each one. You don't have to press the button specifically. Did you know over here, you can map you can map the keys of your keyboard to press any of these. But hold on there. It would be a lot to map every single one of these slots. But what if there was a way where you could just press play and just press stop? Seems feasible, right? So I'm going to open up this sub menu for right here. I don't know if you see this bottom right corner here of the screen. I'm going to open up this bottom right thing to open up this menu. And I'm going to show y'all a crazy little tool that I learned. So as well, there's an option if you want to be able to do a crossfader. There's a crossfader on this right side of the screen. If you want to go that far, but I'm not going far into like controllers or anything. This is just kind of surface level. Want to play the beats, know how to play it. I got my laptop. That's all I got. Got you. So if you want to know how to cue this music without having to play it, of course, you got your keyboard, your laptop keyboard, the up, down, left, right arrows. If you want to play the individual decks, go back to this key and notice something that just popped up on the channels. Can anybody tell me what these look like? Does this look interesting to you? These are all playheads, and each playhead is for each channel. And so instead of individually having to map the keys to each one of these orange boxes, you could easily be like, I want the letter A, I want the letter S. Well, I want the letter A, I want the letter S, I want the letter D, and I want the letter F. Boom. Okay, cool. So you got 4 different channels that you can map to, and you can use any part of your keyboard to do this, by the way. Just keeping that at the forefront. You can use any part of your buttons to do this. Now, here's the craziest part. Let's say you want to also have the ability to stop the music, stop it. I'm going to show you these boxes don't just represent a box where you can press play for a track, but it also has the ability to stop whatever clip is sitting on that channel or the deck. So if A is right here, what's above it is going to be Q. Q, W, S, R. And look at this. You could literally, and actually turn off this little MIDI thing. That's going to be important too. I'm using my key before this.
I am, period.
I'm just playing around with it.
You are, period. I am, period. You are,
All right, cool. So now I could just use a simple keyboard and just kind of go like this. And I want to trigger the same thing too. I'm just playing around with it. And I just turned off the track. Remember the stop button I had? Now let me show you something real crazy. Remember I told y'all I wanted to be able to take this song and not play the entire thing, but I wanted to automatically do that. I wanted to automatically play the very next song. So let me show y'all. There is a component, right, that allows you to take whatever you've played. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So peep this. Peep this. There is a function hidden deep into the abyss of Ableton. And this is going to be your best friend for those of you guys who play music and play an instrument. Maybe you want your set to play itself. You can do that. You can do that. So I don't know if you see this little window here. It says follow action. So every time you engage a certain clip, there's an option to be able to play the very next clip afterwards. Once it hits this ending setup as well, it allows you to be able to repeat it. So if you want to, loop certain parts of the loop or the clip, you can hit follow action and you can actually choose how many times you want it to loop. If you wanted to loop one time, you can change it to one time and it'll automatically loop. And they have so many different functions, so many different ones where you can play, you could do no action, stop, play again, previous. So that means instead of it going down or going up, it'll go up on the clips up here. You can even go to the very first one, the first clip that's on the clip view, or the last clip that's on the clip view. Any of them. You go to other ones. It also, there's other ones too, but each one serves a purpose to be able to get to where you need to go. Now, what's crazy is oftentimes whenever I've like learned how to do transitions, this has saved me so much energy because I used to think I had to get off my instrument of playing drums and I needed to go and individually click each track as I'm playing it. Ableton has pretty much covered that part for you. So once I show y'all this, there's literally no excuse. There's no excuse why you shouldn't be playing your music live. So let's say if you want to play this, I'm gonna turn off the loop. Press play. Watch this. Watch what happens when this clip ends right here. You see this right here? You see this right here? It's highlighted to play. Let it pass. Now, mind you, I don't have my hands on it. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm not even pressing it.
Just a little bit, not a lot. Just a little.
What's funny is you can do this for an entire set. If you wanted to just twiddle knobs, interact with the people, you can set up a whole set list like this. It is powerful because all you did was press one button and it triggered another clip. And what's funny is if you want to set this up to play the next one too, just do the same thing. So watch this. Because once this finishes, it's going to play the next one. Let me make sure I get the ending of this one. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. I'm not touching it. You see what just happened there? I didn't have to do anything except for perfectly cue it up. Then you can mostly focus on effects. See? You see? This is why I wanted to show y'all. This is how you able to play your beats. You can perform your albums. Mo, what's so great about this? What's so great about this is you can literally set up your tracks. You can set up anything in your session to focus on what you do best, which if you play an instrument, you can primarily get your session set up to just play an instrument. That's powerful, dude. That is huge. And so I don't know if y'all feel empowered by that. I'm going to eventually take this entire thing and clean it up a little bit. And it's going to be up online for you guys to mess with. It'll be up online for y'all to be able to not only just mess around with, but let's say you want to mess around with KFX. KFX is sitting on all of these channels. And I mean it. It's sitting on all the channels. So if you're playing these beats, watch this. You throw a reverb on it. Get a little filter. And what's crazy, watch this. That's my favorite thing to do. I love throwing reverb on everything for no reason, just because it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. Y'all feel me? Y'all dig that? So, yeah, this is going to be a live performance template. And I'm going to be dropping it with the effects. I'm going to be actually minimizing some of these a little bit, just so if you guys want to be able to take your own approach to this, we'll be able to do that, you know? And so with that in mind, I'm letting y'all know I'm actively working on my tour set in front of you guys. So, Mo Gratitude said, I have a loop station to help my instrument. I was missing this piece of live looping playlist. Honestly, Ableton makes it 10 times easier because you can use more than just sounds and stuff. Let's say you want to use loops. I'll show you a little thing where you can use loops. So the greatest thing about my sound packs are all, you can literally perform with just my sound packs alone. I have 5 volumes of stuff. And so if you want to play this flip with like a drum loop, you can do that, you know? I'm gonna hit loops. Let's grab break. Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure I play this over here. And there's so many different modes for this. You can actually repitch things too. So repitch makes it bends the pitch of everything. So if you want to play it, and it'll be perfectly in beat too. You can literally play around with so many different loops, bro. Now, one thing I will definitely say about this too, AU Pitch Live. So the only thing I will say about this setup is literally void of any heavy CPU usage. So one of the things about the CPU is that when you use a lot of like plugins and stuff, the downside to using your plugins when you perform is that your computer will take a performance hit when you use certain things like AU pitch, when you use certain things like certain reverbs. So if you were to go and create your own effects, if you were to go and create your own kind of like sounds and textures, be fully aware that your computer does take an impact on its performance when you add things like an AU pitch. Matter of fact, might I submit to you, something like AU pitch won't be as, I want to say, it won't be as like if you don't have a lot of stuff in your session, it might work. But if you got like mad plugins, if you got mad instruments, your computer might be like, hey, big dog, you might have to strip it down. Because the one thing that I don't want y'all to think is that you could just throw any kind of plugins together. It really does impact your performance. So the reason why I even put together KFX in the first place is simply because none of these combined together, like none of these effects combined together, will create a huge difference on your performance with your computer. Like it's less than a few megabytes and you can apply literally any effect at any point. As well, you're able to adjust it. So that's a whole nother thing. But that's what I say. But we can use different plugins. It's just not going to be as quick. And I think even with my AU pitch, I have an older version of it, so it might work. So, and I honestly would suggest anybody who gets curious about it, do you perform with the push controller to trigger the session? I actually don't. And that's why I got my handy dandy schmandy MPD 226 by Ikai. I use this to perform, but I also use my push to be able to trigger sounds, play joints, and not just play joints, playing instruments. I actually have this thing to be able to, that sentence of KFX being low latency enough for a lot of performances, another commercial. That's honestly, listen, bro, there's no reason. It's barely any kind of touch on the CPU. You could just... So it's like you can be able to do so much with that. And I'll even show you how you can like map it for this MPD 226. And so currently at this moment, I already have this deck here. I'll show y'all what the decks look like. So I already have this deck mapped up. I have this deck mapped up, this deck, and this deck. And then after that, I'm gonna basically map this bad boy. Boom, boom, boom. Now what's funny is you can map every single part of this session. Now what's beautiful about this, what's beautiful about all these, I just mapped the lower colors on my MPD to these buttons, and I'll show you exactly why. So the reason why I have that mapped is simply because I want to be able to select in between all of my sessions in a matter of seconds. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the MIDI off so you can map whatever you want after this. And this is probably gonna be a part 2. I'm gonna drop this in 2 parts. So if I wanted to play certain parameters of this thing, I need to be able to have my own kind of like setup, like my own setup, to be able to cue some of these things. And so, let me go ahead and map the plays for the MPD. So this is gonna play. This is gonna play. This is gonna play. This is gonna play. Now here's the cool part. I can also map the sliders too. So we're gonna map this one, map this one, map this one, and then map this one. Now you have, oh, one more thing. I gotta do the stops. So stop, 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 stop. Yeah. And so now, if you have any tracks like selected, you can either have your window open with these master bus, like, not the master bus, but the volume knob sliders, or you can use your controller. It allows you to be able to be more present on your controller. I think about this thing like a keyboard. How would a keyboardist operate his keyboard if all the buttons could maneuver an entire set? So that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, this setup allows me to be able to mess around with things. So if I wanted to press play on period I
am period I. You
and like mess
are,
around.
am I. You are.
Those controls are on a channel on one of the MIDI devices. Yes, it is. So this whole thing is on one control bank. What's funny is this entire controller has 4 different control banks. So if I want to set up 3 more different controllers, I can just hit this button and you'll see the control bank change. So it's A, B, and C. There's 3 different control banks. You could do 3 different sets of controls. So even though I set up MIDI on this like control bank, I can do a whole nother one. That's a whole nother thing. But I want to be able to, I want to stop it.
I am period. I am period. I am period. You are period.
Now I'm pretty sure you're curious to know about these handy dandy schmandies over here. I usually use one knob for a filter, another knob for reverb, and another knob for delays. And we'll get deep into that one day. But overall, I'm just only focusing on just the MIDI setup. And so I have my knob. This one knob is going to be controlling the entire tempo set list. So if I want to change the entire tempo, and actually let's do a little less than that because they allow you to be able to be sensitive with it if you want. So let's delete this. Let's do boom. Watch this. Yep. Allows you to be able to shift it a little bit. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. I'm going to put this here and we're going to do something a little bit drastic. So one way that I think has helped me in this process has been that I don't utilize the normal BPM. So let's say if a BPM of a beat is 80, right? I don't use 80 BPM because I like to be double time. I like to speed things up. And so over here, you're going to need to open up that session view one more time. I have no idea why they put this here, by the way. So this is one of Ableton's crazy like features and stuff. But look at this. Let me show you something crazy. Let me show you something. So we're gonna hit automation, right? Look at this here. The song tempo. I'm pretty sure you want to know why this is sitting here. It says main and it's 60 to 200. The BPMs you select, you can max out between 20 BPM and 999 BPM. But there's no reason to put it on 999 and there's no reason to put it on 20. So how I like to do it, I think about 99 and I think about 200. Because for me, double time is how I often count. I count in double time. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, double time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I internally count. And this is going to make a lot of sense when I start messing with this tempo. So if I wanted to speed up, and I'm going to map this knob. Watch this. I'm going to press play on period.
I am period. You are period. I am period. You are.
And what's funny is, as I mess with it, you can actually like mess around with the details of it too. So not even just song tempo. I want to get the whole. Yeah, let me get the whole mastering of it. Yeah, let me see here. All right, Midi. And I only want to go between, oh, you know what? I think it's right here. So let me show y'all. This is it right here. So when you hit the Midi and you map that like tempo, peep this. I'm just gonna hit it again. Watch this. It by default uses 999 to 20. Why? There's no reason for it. Yeah, so we're gonna hit 200. Gonna hit 99. Now watch this. Being able to do tempo transitions are gonna be so much more fun.
I am period. You are period. I am period. You are.
They automatically said it like that. I have no idea why. And this is also one more thing I'll show you, and this will literally be it for the lesson. But hit repitch. Why I love messing with that method is because when you hit it on repitch, you can allow it to like do something cool with your music. And
I am period.
Watch this.
You are period. I am period. You are.
I hope y'all dig that. That was basically what I wanted to show y'all. Now, I figured I'd show y'all this because I'm going to be dropping literally this template with the KFX, with literally all the new update stuff. This is going to be dropping literally tomorrow for anybody gets curious about messing around with the live pack.